evening. Welcome to all of you to today's session of the STIP Forum lecture series, which is organized by 6 institutions working jointly. And today's event is being organized by RIS. Dr. Chaturvedi will be joining us. He's a little late. So he has asked me to kick off the program. And we're very happy to have the cooperation of the Habitat Center and the other partner institutions in organizing this event. So today's event is a lecture by Professor Ravi B. Grover, who is an Emeritus Professor at the Homi Bhabha National Institute and an expert on nuclear technology. And he is going to talk to us about relationship between S&T and evolution in methods of knowledge production. Rather philosophical type of subject, more on the philosophy of science. And we have, as chairman of this session, a very distinguished scientist, Professor Rammurthy Rajaraman, who is a professor of theoretical physics. And not only is he a theoretical physicist, but he has also specialized in studies on nuclear policy and arms control, especially in relation to South Asia.
Thanks to the forum, STIP forum, and in particular to Ambassador Balakrishnan for giving me an opportunity to be a participant in this event. It's very nice to be here. It's also very nice to chair a talk by an old friend and highly respected friend, Dr. Grover. Dr. Grover also, I think, needs a little bit more time for all the interesting things he has to say than what he's given. So I'll be like little children in parties when people come to visit you. They are meant to be seen and not heard. So a good chairman is like one of those. I'll be seen and by and large not be heard, except till at the end of the talk, I might say a few things. But right now I don't want to stand between you and Dr. Grover, except to say at least a few words of introduction about him. It's all given here in very well in the notice that has come with the talk. But he is a member of AEC currently, Atomic Energy Commission, has been one for a long time. He is also a member of the Board of Research in Nuclear Sciences, which is sort of the Annadata for a lot of research in India. It supports, including mathematics. Pure mathematics is part of that, yeah. And in his life, he's worked on primarily he is a nuclear engineer by specialization and worked on various aspects of the reactor program at BRC. Apart from that, he's also done other things. He's studied the electricity and energy requirements of the country and where nuclear energy stays in places in that. He's also participated in negotiations with other countries, leading to resumption of international civil nuclear trade. That's a very respectable way of saying what we call the nuclear deal, which was one of the very important things that happened to our country. And he was one of our important people who gave in inputs to the negotiations. And subsequently, he was also the Sherpa of the government on the nuclear security summits started by Obama in 2010, which went 10, 12, 14, and 16. So, and the most important thing, a thing as important as these, is his contribution to education in the form of conceptualizing the Homi Bhabha National Institute, which was the first time that people associated with the nuclear establishment could get formal education and degrees and so forth. And he's been with it for a long time, allowing and encouraging it to grow. He has a large number of awards and distinctions, the Padma Shri, and there's a long list of awards given in that notice. So without further ado, I would invite Professor Grover. Ravi, please.
I was always trying to think and study and understand what kind of research should be funded. And in 2003, along with my other jobs, responsibilities of setting up Homi Bhabha National Institute was given to me. So I had to study literature about universities, and as HBNI moved ahead, the idea of HBNI as a university had to be explained to all those who are involved in the process of assessment and accreditation of universities in the country. And then from March 2016 onwards, now I'm free from all executive responsibilities, I felt that let me read more on this area and try to put down all my views on paper. Since this relationship between science and technology as well as methods of knowledge production which happen in universities or research center, these are related topics. And if I know it correctly, maybe Professor Radharaman can correct me, there is a Department of Science and Technology Studies in JNU, and that is probably the only department in the country. No other places this kind of studies are going on. So I'm here to speak to you. This is a very complex subject, not with the idea of telling you something, but with the idea of improving my thought process based on discussion, which I am sure will happen at the end of the talk. Considering resource crunch, one has to pay greater attention to where to direct funding, how to structure universities, organize survey organizations, and set up national laboratories. What should be the GER, that is gross enrollment ratio for higher education in the country? And all these issues require contemplation and surveys and research. So let me begin with the classical paradigm of the relationship, which is very important for this purpose. That is, tools and crafts, they were developed by early civilizations and have evolved to become present-day technologies. Tools and crafts have been always existing, for a long time. And ancient civilization, whether it was Indus Valley or Egyptians or Babylonians, they did study mathematics, geometry, architecture, astronomy, calendaring. And thus one can say that advanced civilizations long ago, they did develop scientific concepts. But it's very difficult to say when and where the concept of scientific inquiry originated. Attribution of its origin to civilizations in Europe can be challenged, as scientific inquiry was present before the emergence of Greek civilization, which conventionally people think that concept of scientific inquiry began there itself. But it was definitely present. If they could make geometrical layout right in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro civilization, they were aware of the concept of geometry, and it was so in other civilizations as well. But one thing which is common across the globe, that delinking of philosophical inquiry from practical arts.